I'm up on Beacon Hill in Rottingdean to see a flock of Herdwick sheep that has been grazing here over the winter. The sheep are a peaceful sight, quietly drifting across the downs beneath the sails of Rottingdean's historic windmill. But the sheep are not just here for the view, they have a serious job to do. They've been brought back by Brighton and Hove City Council to put a stop to the scrub that is threatening to destroy the chalk grassland. David Larkin, countryside ranger.
97% of the old wildflower-rich grasslands disappeared in the last 100 years. So that's why it's really important to get the sheep back onto these sites, because without the sheep, the bits that haven't been ploughed up or been built on are slowly scrubbing over and we'll lose it all completely.
The sheep need quite a bit of looking after during the winter grazing months. Daily checks are done by volunteer shepherds from the community, known locally as lookerers. Mark Cherry, who lives in Rottingdean, is one of the volunteers on Beacon Hill. Whatever the weather, he turns out to check the sheep are safe.
We make sure that none of them are lame, picked up anything overnight. Things can get caught in their hooves and so on and so forth, that they're okay that way. None of them are caught in brambles or obviously distressed in any way. It's just a general overview to make sure things are okay.
Volunteer shepherds like Mark are essential to the success of the scheme, helping to make it financially viable. David Larkin.
Now most of the sites are surrounded by housing estates and are quite heavily used by dog walkers, so we need to check our sheep much more regularly than other farmers would have to, and we haven't got the resources to be able to do that, so we rely on the volunteers to keep a close eye on the sheep and make sure if there are any problems we can see to them quickly.
Sheep grazing is a cost-effective and practical way of controlling grass and scrub on the chalk downland, especially on the steeper sites which can't be mowed mechanically. Now, after several years of winter grazing, there is some evidence that rarer species are returning. Mark Cherry.
It's worked for 4 or 5 years. Apparently, lapwings and other types of birds have increased in number up there, as have some specific species of butterfly that are specific to the Downs, and they've increased in numbers.
So the bright idea of bringing back the ancient farming tradition of sheep grazing on the Downs has become a modern-day success story, helping to protect the wildflowers and natural beauty of this well-loved landscape.